Hey everybody, this is Adam Schneider, and you are listening to the Sales on Demand Show. This is episode 127, and I'd like to dedicate this episode to my man, Bob Saget. And in order to do that, I would like to say that this podcast is filmed in front of a live studio audience. So, as many of you know, Bob Saget died the other day. It was really sad. I just remember growing up as a kid, sitting in front of the TV, watching America's Funniest Videos. So, kind of made me sad when I learned he died. But I mean, I guess people die, right? So, shouldn't be too surprised when people die, but it still is kind of sad. Seemed like a cool guy. Just the kind of guy where, you just know that he's fun to hang around with. And at least he didn't die of drugs, so I guess that's good. I always hate hearing people die of doing drugs. It just really casts a real bad shadow on their life. All right, so anyway, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about today's topic. I think you're going to love this one. 2 things that are going to make you a millionaire. That's right. We're going back into this. I don't know. I don't know why. I've just been thinking about this lately, and I just really think this is a good topic for 2022. And kind of what makes me think about this is that, I have a lot of friends, and I have close friends, and I have acquaintances. I have people who've known me for a long time and people who haven't known me very long, but I have a lot of people that I kind of know. And I have a lot of people that I know are struggling financially. And probably every week, I have somebody hit me up and say, hey, can I borrow some money? And I have a policy. I don't lend money out. I do not lend money out. I will give anybody who asks me $20, or even like if they need $40 to pay a bill, I'll give them $40. And I specifically tell them, do not pay me back. I do not want you to owe me money. I just don't want the stress of knowing that somebody is thinking about owing me money. I hate that. It stresses me out knowing that someone else is stressed about that. Because I've been there. And I've been both the borrower and the lender, and I just don't want anything to do with that. But I know that money is a big topic, and it consumes our entire lives, really, doesn't it? So if you could be a millionaire, if you could be wealthy, and you didn't have to live day-to-day hand-to-mouth, don't you think that would be preferable? Well, obviously that would be great. And it would free up your time and your energy to do things that are important, but maybe you're not focusing on those things very much because you're busy earning a living. So I wanted this series to be kind of build a life that you can look back on and say, I didn't just, generate wealth. I really lived. I experienced things. I helped people. I did the things that needed to be done in the world. And hopefully that's something that you can look back on and be proud of. So, all right, so what's going on? I just got some books in the mail, and these books are all about learning how to fly. This is something I've kind of been toying with, and I can't remember if I mentioned this in any previous episode, but I've been debating going for a pilot's license, although I don't think I'm going to rush through this. And I think the reason I'm not going to rush through this is that it really is expensive, and I don't know if it's going to pay off immediately, so we've got some other things that need to be done first. Need to buy the house we're living in and fix up a few things. That needs to be done first. And, learning how to fly is fun, but I don't need to be spending any money right now, so I bought the books, and I'm just going to read through them. And the funny thing is that I actually read all of these books as a kid. When I was an air cadet, I took the ground school training, and I remember sitting in the class learning how to calculate, a heading using an airplane. I learned how, a wing works and all that stuff, and I'm just reading this again, and it's bringing back kind of all that nostalgia. And it's fun. I enjoy this, and I do think I'm going to go through with it, but I'm not in a rush. I'm just savoring the moment, I guess, and, really making sure that this is something I want to do before I go and spend a bunch of money to do it. So that's basically what's going on in my life right now. Now, if you guys want to join my special boot camp, I do teach how to start print-on-demand businesses. I currently work from home. I am 100% self-employed. Every dollar I earn comes from my own effort, my own business, and I can teach you how to do that. Go to salesondemandshow.com/start, download my free videos. Gets you on my email list. I promise I won't email you very much. In fact, I don't think I've emailed since before Christmas started, so I probably should send some emails to keep everybody updated. But you can get those free videos there and learn how to start your own print-on-demand business. Now, that's just the beginning videos. I do have a paid training course that you can also join, and right now it's basically as cheap as you could get. You get 2 free hours of one-on-one coaching time if you join my paid training. So that's pretty good. My personal one-on-one coaching time is very expensive these days. All right, so how are things going, business-wise? They're actually going really good. There is a trend that, and I always miss out on these, but this time I knew I wasn't going to do this. So there's a trend happening. There's a thing going on. And let's just call it a long line of vehicles that is traveling somewhere. And if you're listening to this, I feel like you probably will know what that means. But maybe if you're listening to this in a year, you won't know what it means. And it actually, that's kind of fun that you don't know what this means. But anyway, it's a trend. It's not going to last forever. These things never, ever do. But I went out and just created a few designs, popped them onto Etsy, popped them onto Amazon, and sure enough, I made about $300 in sales just today from that one trend. So these things are always really fun, and they're really easy to do, right? And it's something that I teach again in my training. Jumping on trends is huge. There's a certain way to do it, and you kind of got to be quick at it, but it can really go quite well for you. Of course, there's no real holidays coming up except for maybe Valentine's Day, so I don't know if Valentine's Day is going to be a big holiday this year, but I've definitely been planning for this upcoming year and what I want to do. And I actually thought I would kind of just read a few of the things that I have planned just for accountability's sake. So this year I've got 2 fairly major business ventures that I want to get into. The first one, of course, is I want to start selling on Amazon Japan. So this is something I heard about on a podcast maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I heard somebody doing this, and they revealed that Amazon Japan is kind of behind where Amazon.com is, but it's growing fast. It's a very fast-growing marketplace. You can build, a good presence there. Buy your products from China, obviously, bring them into Japan, brand them, create your listings, and start selling on Amazon Japan. So I thought, well, I probably should do that. I've done quite well in the United States market, but I really don't know if the United States market is going to be a good market for long-term growth. I really think that these other emerging markets are kind of the way to go. Canada being one of them, I guess, but Japan, and there's a few other marketplaces that are just really poorly known. I mean, Brazil is a good place, and there's other platforms too that I've been looking to expand to. So I want to expand to Walmart. And a friend of mine, Travis Ross, who's actually been a guest on this show before, he is doing pretty good on Walmart. And so I have decided this year that I need to learn how to sell on Walmart and either list my best products on Walmart or hire someone else to do it. It's probably going to be hiring someone to do it because, these things always take forever. I just don't have the time to do it myself. And why would I do it myself even if I did have the time? That's not really the best use of my time. So that's one thing I want to do is expand to Amazon Japan. I'd like to have 3 products launched by the end of the year and making decent sales. The next thing I really think that's a good idea is to start creating some precious jewelry using Gear Bubble's precious jewelry and selling them with TikTok ads. I don't know if I should admit this on public record, but yeah, okay, I will. I watch a decent amount of TikTok videos every day. Me and my daughter, we kind of trade our funniest TikTok videos. And I've been seeing these ads pop up. And they're always these, a box, and it's got a necklace in it. And then behind the necklace is a printed card. And it's a product that Gear Bubble offers. And we call them precious jewelry. And it is sterling silver with gold plating and cubic zirconia. So they're not like diamonds or anything like that. But they are very nice looking. They make great gifts, and people will pay a lot of money for them. They really are a perfect gift, either there's so many different niches, and I really got to start talking about this a little bit more. But I actually taught, Gear Bubble hired me to teach a boot camp over the Christmas season on how to make these precious jewelry necklaces, so I had to dive in and learn how to do it. And so far I've made about $1,200 in sales from these precious jewelry products, I guess you could call them. There's a bunch of them. They're all quite nice. And I just, you can really make a lot of money selling these with ads because they have a very high profit margin. So I think that is something that I would like to get into this year. And, I'm already doing work for Gear Bubble. It would just add to the value of what I do with Gear Bubble to learn how to do this. I've got all the tools in front of me to do this, and I just need to actually step out and do it. And I think this is the year to do that. Now, of course, it means I'm going to have to hire some more people, and that becomes complicated. Managing people, it's complicated. And hiring them and deciding what to pay and giving them enough work to do. There's always this, time period of transition and stuff like that. So what I'm really working to do is to build redundancy in my life and get myself enough time that I can do this effectively. So it actually means I have to work less at what I'm doing now so that I can build enough time to do these things, right? The number one thing I want is to build my own business. Like, I'm making a lot of money coaching, and that's great, but that's trading time for money, and I don't know that I want to do just that. I have to be building my own brand as well, and I need time to do that. So it's something that I've been trying to get, is to make sure that I have enough time to do that, and so far it's working pretty good. We've got extra coaches coming on board. I've even been taking students that I taught and making them coaches, which that's a great feeling. When you have somebody that, they started from zero and they were successful based on something that you taught them. And all of a sudden they're good enough now that they can teach other people how to do that same thing. That's a really awesome feeling. And it also creates a lot of redundancy where it doesn't just rely on me to be there for this program. And I like that. I want this program that I coach for to be successful. And I don't want it all to rely on me. So that's been a positive thing that's happened in the last little while. All right, so let's dive right in here. I wanted to talk about 2 things that can make you a millionaire and keep you a millionaire. So I think I may have mentioned it in the last episode, but there is a concept called FIRE, F-I-R-E, Financially Independent, Retired Early. Um, Now, this is different than being a millionaire, right? A millionaire is just somebody who has $1 million in some kind of net worth. It doesn't mean anything to be a millionaire if you are locked into your lifestyle, right? If you have to work, then you're not a fire millionaire. You might have a house that's worth $1 million, but you can barely pay the taxes on it. Or you can, you're just barely making ends meet. You got two people in the house working, and you're trying to pay for all these loans that you've got. You're paying the mortgage, you're paying this, you're paying that. That is not what I'm talking about. Having $1 million in assets doesn't really make you a millionaire, right? What I'm talking about is people who have like income that doesn't rely on them working all the time. And they don't have to spend that income to maintain their lifestyle. So they don't live the lifestyle of a millionaire, but they have the wealth of a millionaire. So let's get into that. How do you get there? And what does it look like when you are there? All right, so let's talk about the first thing. Number one, fire millionaires are good at earning money. There's just no question about this. You will not become wealthy unless you become good at actually earning money. So, and I think I probably mentioned this last time, but these are people that have something the world needs or wants, and they're good at selling that thing. They're marketing themselves in a sense. And I've seen people who are talented, and they're just not very good at marketing their talent. I have a friend who, she's a very talented artist, good friend, and I've known her for a very long time. And I keep telling her, hey, listen, you need to market this talent better than what you're doing now. Like, it's all great to be making some ad revenue on YouTube. That's cool, right? Making ad revenue is good, but you could be doing so much more than just making ad revenue. You could be selling a course. You could be, doing training with people. You could be doing group coaching sessions, and people will pay big money to learn what you have to teach them, right? So it's not just that fire millionaires are good at earning money. They're good at, finding the people who want to buy what they have to offer and who are willing to pay a high price for it. They know that what their skills are they're worth a lot of money, right? So for me, I'm good at marketing. I know how to, build products. I know what the marketplace is looking for. I'm good at helping people build, their own little small business. That is a valuable skill and a valuable trait. And it doesn't come cheap, right? So, to buy the training course, you have to pay money. And the price of the training course is always going to be going up. When I first offered my training, it was $300. Now it's $500. That's still a discount for what it's worth. But I'm always adding to it, and it's always becoming more valuable because I'm getting better at doing this. And the better I get, the more valuable my time becomes, and the more valuable this training becomes. So, you have to become good at selling what you have. If you undervalue your own skills, then you're not going to become wealthy. And I know that, there's such a thing as modesty, and I'm probably not practicing a lot of that right now because I'm basically spending this entire episode boasting about my skills, which believe it or not, I don't like. I feel actually embarrassed about talking about this, and my face is actually turning red as I'm saying this. I do not like talking about myself as if I'm some kind of guru. I'm not a guru. I have experience, and I've paid for that experience, and I have cultivated that experience. And that's really what a fire millionaire is. And I'm not at this point yet. I haven't achieved this status. I too am still working my way through this, just like you guys are. It's just that I can see the path forward, and I know people who are doing this. And so I'm going to use those people as my template to do this. And hopefully you guys can join me in this pathway and get to this spot yourself, because I think this is really worth doing this. All right, so a lot of fire millionaires are people who were involved in tech. So maybe they're the programmers and coders who, and some of the people that I know, and I found a couple of these people on TikTok, they became software engineers, and they became good at it. And software engineers who are good make a lot of money because it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to learn. You have to be pretty smart to be a software engineer. And so they make a high income. But it's not just that they're highly educated, they're highly motivated, and they never stop learning. So they rise to the top of their field, right? And people like that are never going to be out of work. They may not be necessarily employed, but they're never going to be out of work. They're always going to be learning something new and doing something new. So to summarize, the first half here is that you have to become good at earning money, meaning that you have to either have something or learn something that the world wants or needs, something that's valuable and something that people will pay a lot of money to get from you. So whether that's a service that you provide for people or it's some knowledge that you deliver to people, that is, you need to become good at selling. So the thing that I sell that's really valuable is I sell products online, products that people want, and I sell them for a lot of money, right? So I sell coffee mugs and t-shirts that, the base cost of the product is $5 or $6, right? So you can go to Walmart and buy a coffee mug for $5 or $6. I'm not selling coffee mugs. I don't sell t-shirts. I sell what's printed on them. And people are paying me $30, $40, and I even got a sale the other day for $45 for one product because somebody wanted it so badly. They're like, I have to pay $45 for that product. And that's how you become wealthy, right? You become good at finding the things that people really want or need. You create it, and then they buy it from you. Now, let's move on to number 2 here, because it's not just about making money. I mean, making money, I hate to say this, and people are going to disagree with me. It's not actually that hard to make money, right? Making money is actually the easy part of it. There are lots of people out there who make a lot of money. Doctors, for one. I talked about doctors last week. They're the most highly indebted people on the planet. As a class of people, I guess. They have the least amount of network and the highest amount of debt. But they make a lot of money. And they make a lot of money because they learned something that the world really wants, how to keep people from becoming sick or how to fix them when they are sick. Well, I guess they're really good at that, and most doctors are pretty smart. I wouldn't say that all doctors are pretty smart, but, on average, I think they're probably smarter than the average, bag of potatoes, which is probably good because, people are sicker than ever. But they make a lot of money. The problem is that they're not very good at step 2, and that is keeping the money. So it's not just about making the money, bringing in the revenue. You have to become good at keeping that money. Like money that just flows through your hands and flows out the other end is worthless. It's worthless. Like, what's the point of earning all that money if it just goes out the back end, if you're spending it all? You're not going to become a millionaire. You're going to be a playboy, or you're going to be miserable. And you're going to be miserable because you're going to always be chasing a lifestyle. You're going to be chasing that lifestyle, and that's not something that you need. We're not talking about a lifestyle here, right? Or we are talking about a lifestyle, but we're not talking about a wealthy lifestyle. We're not talking about cocktail parties and, $3,000 suits and, patent leather shoes. I don't know what rich people buy, yachts and all that crap. I'm talking about having time to pursue your dreams. Now, maybe it is fun to go to parties for sure, but that's not a dream. That's a party. If your dream is to party, you need better dreams. Your dreams suck, right? So if your dreams are to just be extravagant and be able to buy anything you want, that's a terrible dream, and you should really think about who you are as a person, right? Because that's not a real dream. A real dream is, hey, I want to do this thing. I want to visit these countries. I want to be able to donate to this really good cause. I want to spend more time with my kids. This last 6 or 7 weeks, I have specifically taken time on every Monday and Friday to go skating with my son because I recognize this is the time to spend with him. And if I don't spend this time with him, it doesn't matter how much money I make. It's not going to come back. Now, if I was working a job, there's no way that I could have done that because the skating rink is only open for an hour on Monday and an hour on Friday, and it's an hour that I would have been at work. So for me to be able to be here and take my daughter to driving lessons and do all this stuff with my family, I needed to be able to work at home and have control over my schedule. For me, just that control over my schedule was a dream that I had. Right? That was my dream. I don't care about having a big house and granite countertops. I just want to be able to wake up in the morning and have breakfast with my family. That's a good dream in my opinion. And I mean, I'm not gonna criticize you if your dreams are something different, but I mean, it's not about owning a bunch of expensive things. It's about the ability to go and do things to change the world around you. That's what a real dream is. And you need to be able to, that takes money, of course, right? So here's the thing. Fire millionaires are not big spenders. They're frugal. They live an average lifestyle. They live in an average house. And they have an average car. They're not driving a beater. But they're also not driving a BMW. Unless the BMW is 10 years old. And they got a deal on it, right? Fire millionaires are good at getting deals. They're generous, but they're not extravagant. They're not spending a bunch of money that doesn't need to be spent. They still go to the grocery store and they look at 2 products and they buy the cheapest one. Unless it's coffee, I don't buy cheap coffee. I buy good coffee. Because life is too short to drink crappy coffee. So, yeah, there are obviously some, I guess, things that you compromise on, but in general, fire millionaires are not people who go out and just buy things they don't need. And I've got a couple of friends who they're just not very good at doing this. They look at a TV and they say, I need that TV. Or they see something online. And the first thing they ask themselves is not, do I need this? But I'm going to pay for this one way or the other, right? So you have to be able to resist the urge to buy things, even if they're small things. And this is kind of what I'm going through right now, right? I mean, I can afford to go and learn how to be a pilot, take flight training, but I'm not going to right now. Because there's other things that I need to invest in first. I need to invest first in things that are going to generate more money. So I need to build this business. And I need to, invest second in buying this house. And then when there's money left over someday, maybe it'll take 2 or 3 years before that's done. Then maybe I'll commit some money to learning how to fly. But that just makes it better, right? When you have to wait for something that's fun and that you're really looking forward to, it makes it that much sweeter. And so this is just something that I am willing to take my time on and kind of savor the fun of it. So FIRE millionaires know how to invest, and they invest both in themselves and they also invest in other income generating ventures that will continue to pay off for them in the long run. Now here's another thing that FIRE millionaires do. They build networks. So they learn how to connect to people. And they don't learn and connect to people so that those people can benefit them, right? They just love people. It's about investing in other people. And that's really where the payoff is, right? When you invest in other people, they become your friend. And friends support each other. And if you need friends, and you've invested in 50 people, 100 people, you're never going to be short of somebody who's willing to come and invest in you. Because they trust you, and they know you. Now, I'm not saying that you go out there and you manipulate people by pretending to be their friend, so that someday that they'll come back and pay you back. That's not how it works, right? And besides, people can tell when other people are not being authentic. They know when somebody's trying to manipulate them, and they're not going to buy in, right? So if you want people to actually trust you, you have to be authentic. You build networks with people in authentic ways. I mean, look, this is how Joe Rogan has built the largest podcast on planet Earth. 11 million listeners per show. Not per week, per show. 11 million people are downloading and listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. And the guy just sits there and he talks to people. He doesn't have any agenda. He just wants to dig and he wants to find out. Like, that's authenticity at its really most evident. Like, I love that. And say whatever you think about Joe Rogan's politics, I don't really care. The guy's authentic. He is the same person off camera as he is on camera. And that matters. Like, if people think that you're a real person, they're going to like you. They're going to want to follow you. They're going to want to do what you do. So I hope that, I am living authentically. I do the best I can, for sure. I certainly haven't got all my ducks in a row. They're kind of scattered all over the place, and I'm working on making them line up. But it's more like cats at this point, It's kind of like herding cats. So I'm working through all of these things 1 week at a time. But it's getting closer. I can see how this is going to look. I mean, it's never going to be complete. It's always going to be something that I'm going to be fighting for or building for. But, it's great. It's amazing. I'm happy to be alive. And you know what? Even despite everything that the government has done this year, all the nonsense, all the inflation that they've thrown at us and at me, I've been affected by this tremendously. I still have boundless optimism for the future. I really think the future is going to be amazing. All right. Well, we're getting close to the end here. So here's a couple things that I want to talk about in the next few episodes. And this is about, building that lifestyle that you can look back and say, yeah, this lifestyle was exactly what I wanted it to be. So number one is where you live matters. Number two, how you live matters. So personal growth, maintaining purpose, staying healthy. And number three is being flexible and moving to where the growth is. So there you go. That's what I want to talk about. I know it's not as, focused on print on demand as I have been in the past. And I think that's okay, right? I mean, print on demand is a tool that I'm using to achieve what I want to do, right? It's not my purpose. It's a means to achieve my purpose. And I enjoy it. And it's an always moving and changing business, and I'm enjoying learning new things as I go through here. And it's kind of like the journey is really part of the process, right? So there's no destination in mind. Like, there's no final destination for a print-on-demand business. It's not like you look at your business and you're like, okay, I've made it. I'm at the pinnacle. Because there's always somewhere else to grow. Whereas, at a job, that's not always the case, right? So when you work a job, you don't always have anywhere to grow into. And, some people are okay with that. But for me, I need somewhere that I'm moving to. And a job just wasn't able to provide that for me. So, I'm kind of glad I retired from it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Of course, you can find this podcast online, Apple iTunes, Google, I believe it's in the Google store, on Spotify too. Me and Joe Rogan, we're both on Spotify, so that's cool. And of course, at salesondemandshow.com. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.